Like and subscribe. Okay, I want you all to check this out. Tucker Carlson was sent by the United States government to Russia to talk to Putin. He did not go to Russia to do Putin a favor. He went to Russia to start a controversy, a war of words, in which he can take the truth and twist it. That's what he was there to do, to start a war of words in which Putin would lose because America dominates the worldwide media. America dominates the media. Now, this is when Putin got hip to what he was doing. He asked Putin, and he knew the answer. He asked Putin who blew up the pipeline from Russia to Germany. And this is how Germany got their gas. He asked Putin who blew it up. And Putin looked at him and he just did this. Because signifying we all know who blew that pipeline up. You know Russia didn't do it because they were making money from it. Germany didn't do it because they needed the gas. The only person that could benefit from that is the United States because they have been placing sanctions on Russia to weaken their economy, weaken their cash flow so they would not be able to afford to buy or build weapons to defeat Ukraine. Now, Putin was smart. Putin didn't take the bait. And he replied, he could not win telling the truth or debating the United States because the United States controls the media. Putin told him that. And see, one thing about Putin is that Putin does not get into wars he can't win. Now, understand this. Putin is a spiritual warrior. He is a spiritual warrior, or he became a spiritual warrior when Tucker Carlson asked him that question and he began to think about it. Now, those of you who follow my post, you know, and I've told you this many times, the United States offense is sanctions through the international banks. And the dollar is used as in exchange of goods, as a medium for the exchange of goods and services. And I explained that when a country like Africa needs money for its infrastructure and to take care of its people, the country may ask for $2 billion, and the United States will only give them $1 billion of their own money and state that you might use the money for terrorist activities or to try to build a nuclear power plant. You see, that's how the United States keep countries crippled with sanctions, and then they attack them with propaganda through the media. Now, Russia defeated sanctions because the Russian economy is growing. And one of the things that Russia does is sell oil. And so the United States felt that cripple the income that Russia makes off selling gas to Germany, and that will help us. It didn't work because there are other routes that Russia can use to sell oil, and it is not their only export. With the help of Iran, who has been sanctioned by the United States, Russia was helped and shown how to get past and defeat sanctions. So Russia defeated the sanctions, but Russia defeated the propaganda war recently. And I don't know if Putin has been, it looked like Putin had been setting this up. When Putin opened up the libraries and the archives and showed the world that Yahshua was a melanated man and that the Bible is Black history, he crippled white supremacists, which is what the United States is, and which is what the Israelis are. They are Khazars from the Ukraine. Now, a bit of information. Russia defeated the Khazars about 2,000 years ago or more. Russia defeated the Khazars before. And the Khazars are from the Ukraine area. And when he defeated them, they spread it out all over the world. When he defeated them, they spread it out. Now, do not get spread it out with enslaved. They were not enslaved. See, Putin set this thing up. First, he exposed the pictures proving that Yahshua, Jesus, is Black. Now, Putin still had he still has this war on his hands. Now, understand this. If Putin does not attack Ukraine when he did, the Ukrainian people right now might be suffering from an epidemic. The United States had 10 chemical war plants in Ukraine. They were developing chemical war plants in Ukraine. They had 10 of them, and they were ran by the CIA. Putin knew this, and he had no choice but to attack. And if he doesn't attack, then we don't know. Russia will be going through a germ warfare right now. And understand this. Russia, the United States, wants China. But China has over 1 billion people. Russia has 150 million people. So, of course, you take out Russia, and then you have China surrounded. That was the plan. Take out Russia, and then you have China surrounded. You see, China is the big target. That is the market that the United States oligarchs want to control. You got Africa, get Russia out the way, then you got that Chinese market, and then billionaires become trillionaires. That was the plan. Now understand this. The United States took $600 billion of the Russian people's money that was in the IMF, monetary banks, took that money and was going to is giving it to Ukraine to do what? They're not even going to give the money to Ukraine. The money was going to be given to the United States, and the United States was going to give weapons to the Ukraine to just continue this attack on Russia and try to financially wear Russia down using its own money. And the Ukraine looks like Palestine now, with all the bombing that has been going on. You see, all the United States wants is a little corner. As long as they can just keep dropping bombs and try to wear Russia down is their goal. That's their goal. The Ukrainian people sacrificed. And they already had a plan. Europe and the United States had a plan to rebuild Ukraine and divvy it up to make money in agriculture. Now, when Russia attacked the Ukraine, he protected the Russian people from chemical warfare. So he defeated that. Now he's got to worry about the battle of attrition. Now, when he exposes the fact that black people are God's chosen people, he cripples Israel. He crippled Israel. And the United States could not vote against the ceasefire. They couldn't vote against the ceasefire because now if you are supporting Israel, you are supporting demons. Because the simple fact of the matter is, if Jesus is black, then we go to Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, and where Jesus says that they are usurpers and they worship in the synagogue of Satan. And the proof of that is that the ICJ, International Court of Justice, had to voted against them. Now, if you support them and they're not who they say they are not the Hebrew Israelites, they are not Jews, then who are they? The synagogue of Satan, as stated in the Bible. And see, the cool thing about Putin is that he set it up. He opened the books. He showed pictures. Then he used the internet to get it out. And he used the internet to get out. And then he made it public when he told the Russian people the truth. Now, understand this. Satan's only power is lies and deceptions. And where does he place those lies and deceptions? He places them in your mind so that he doesn't have to control you physically. He doesn't have to control humanity physically because he can't. He can't. He's always going to be at the mercy of nature. You see, nature is good. Chaos is evil. Chaos always runs contrary to nature. Nature is godly. That is the script that we should follow. The script is nature. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5 speaks out against homosexuality. And no one is born a homosexual. Homosexuality is conditioned. Homosexuality is conditioned. That's why in the United States of America, they want to teach homosexuality to 8 and 10-year old kids, indoctrinate them into a system that is chaotic. And anything that does not produce life, or helps with the survival of life is chaotic and evil. We live because we want to live. Life is its own justification. Follow me closely, or the things that I am saying are not going to appear in conjunction. Life moves, life travels, thought moves and travels. So you have to follow me. Now understand this. Putin saved thousands and thousands of Russian lives. He saved thousands and thousands of Palestinian lives, American lives. Because if we come to the reality, the truth, that those Khazars, Israelis, are not Hebrew Israelites, are not God's chosen people, then the premise that they are in Israel because they are Hebrew Israelites is destroyed. They have no backing or reason to attack the Palestinians because they are not Hebrew Israelites. It was never their land. Point, set, and match. And see, by opening those books, proves that Israelis are Khazars and they are not God's chosen people. And the lie that they tell, that those pictures have become have become darkened over the years, becomes even more profound when you say that, well, why haven't the white robes darkened also? You see, it blows it all in their face. And see, Caucasians, spiritual Caucasians, have been saying this for years, but they do not have the platform that Putin has. And when Putin is going to save lives, because now the first thing, look, if Israelis are not God's chosen people, then they have no right to the land in Israel, and they have to stop lying, stop killing, murdering, and committing genocide, because that is their premise. That is their reason for the provocation of the genocide that's going on. But the real reason that United States allows this is because United States wants a foot in the Middle East for world conquest and domination. And see, and I'm going to tell you this now, if the Muslims were smart, they would have stopped this BS a long time ago. They would have stopped it a long time ago. Because white supremacists considered them sand monkeys. Sand monkeys. Even though even though they may look, even though they're Caucasian, but white supremacists consider them sand monkey. So they can do like people from India do, bleach their skin. The people of China bleach their skin, but they're not going to be considered white at all. They are just propagandized. They are just victims to propaganda. So I'm going to close here. I think I've said, I think I've exposed everything I need to expose. And I'm going to add one thing. And this is what I've said in many videos. The United States weapon is sanctions and propaganda. That's why they have done everything they can to take control of the media worldwide so that they can propagate this false narrative into people's minds for control. And sanctions is another of their weapons. Their defense is the oceans. They feel that nobody can reach them from the ocean. So Reagan gave Star Wars to Israel, and they called it the Iron Dome because United States corporation felt safe. And another thing the United States did was to stop other countries from developing the nuclear weapon. That way, it put us one up. Put the United States one up. I'm just a prisoner here. And the United States is not a democracy. It is a republic. Look up the definition. The people do not elect our president. The Electoral College does. And they can be considered like the dukes or duchess or whatever you want to call it that existed back in medieval times. And the United States has a habit of executing democratically elected people in South America and in Africa because the United States is not a democracy, it is a republic. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. The truth is right under your nose. Putin, let me end here, is a spiritual warrior. He is a spiritual warrior, and his announcement that Jesus or Yahshua is black is going to save millions and millions of lives. However, the demons, they're going to kick the teachings of Yahshua, Jesus, out because they never believed in God or Jesus anyway. The only thing that they believed in was white supremacy. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.